Okay, I do Glamour. The way I do Glamour is based on my acting background. And it boils down to be what you want to see. Um, as, which means, so there's kind of a weird duality here, because the point of Glamour is the art of changing appearance rather than the art of changing substance. And I'm saying change your appearance by changing substance. Don't actually change all of the substance, but it is entire. But as with someone who's a method actor, you can construct essentially a you.
For the record, I think this is massively unhealthy, but Ian and I practice in different ways.
Oh no, we practice in totally different ways. You can construct a you or a mask that is what you want to glamour yourself as, and then put it on. It works pretty well for me. There are some profoundly troubling psychological implications to basically everything that I do, that one included. But that's how I tend to approach Glamour. Either that or I used to attempt to change the perception of the people around me rather than change the way I looked, period. I ended up stopping doing that on grounds that it felt too much like interfering with someone else's existence and ability to think for themselves. And so I, by and large, don't do that anymore. Riley wants to know why you consider my method unhealthy. Riley,
so, I have never successfully managed to create a fake me without creating a revealing me. Something to think about is that a person is never so much themselves as when they think they're wearing a mask that conceals who they are. And I think...
Careful, your anarchist is showing.
I am an anarchist. I'm not ashamed of that. I mean, we're listening to my anarchist playlist right now. Well, my socially acceptable anarchist playlist. So, in particular, one, I think that when you create a mask for the public, you're actually creating something very revealing about you. And I'm not sure I want certain things about me to be revealed. Two, I think that any time that you manipulate your psyche in order to create something palatable to the world, you're actually cutting pieces of yourself away in order to be acceptable to a society that is just broken. It's broken, it's messed up, and what it demands of us is so hugely damaging. Now, I understand that in some cases people have to wear a mask in order to, work retail, go to school, and that in many cases that is a safety thing, not just an economic thing, being able to keep a job, and but a matter of safety, especially if someone is trans or, I'll use an example. I'm not a black man. I understand that black men have to wear a certain level of mask of an affable person in order to not get fucking shot. Okay, so that's not what I'm talking about. I mean deliberately altering your psyche to fit a mask rather than adapt your behavior to survive. Is that a distinguished... How would you describe that?
No, well, I think that that the necessity to adapt your behavior to survive causes damage as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does cause damage. I'm not trying to denigrate how much damage it causes. It's just a different kind of damage. I think that one of the dangers, and what Ian is describing, is that you can so very quickly adapt into something like dissociative identity disorder as a way of processing trauma. I'm not denigrating those who have dissociative identity disorder. I work with a student who does. He's amazing. All of his many alters are amazing too. Thank you.
At least.
I'm saying that one of the concerns there is that you may give it to yourself.
Yeah.
And if that's something that you want, if you want to do that to yourself, to each their own. To each their own path. If you feel that will benefit you, it's not for me to tell you not to.
In my particular case, the way that I'm able to do it is tied into the fact that I have borderline personality disorder. And so there is basically a superficial layer of psyche that I can just shape and reconstruct.
Which is probably because you're non-neurotypical and you have a personality disorder.
Yeah.
Actually, you have two.
Minimum.
I'm worried sometimes that I would pick up a mask and put it on and find I couldn't take it off.
Yeah.
That I didn't know who I was anymore because I'd worn the mask so much. I try to be as genuine and upfront as I possibly can be all the time because that is a source of power to me.
Whereas for me, being able to make people think that I'm something that I'm not is a source of a different kind of power, although it's not one that it's one that I'm trying not to use very much.
Yes.
Because ethics.
My glamours primarily are to say, act as a filter, that what comes out of my mouth is not false, that what comes out of my mouth is what I mean, that I see things clearly, that I do not distort my own perspective of my own importance. Because I can convince myself I'm quite important, and I really need to work on that as a person.